Hello, this is Christiane Piano, and welcome to your Reset Reflections. Today's reflection is on silence. The reason I have chosen silence is it can be, depending on your relationship to it, deeply supportive, nourishing, and just a great dose of it on a consistent basis is so supportive of body-mind well-being. So what do I mean by your relationship to silence? Well, simply put, you either like it or you don't like it. Makes you comfortable, makes you uncomfortable. You create space for it, you don't create space for it. You have an opinion about it. Those are just some examples of what your relationship may look like to silence. And it can change over time, and it can be different from day to day. Because your experience of yourself day to day, your experience of others day to day, the experience of life is constantly in a state of flux. So we're in a busy period of the year, and most people are spending more time with others, maybe people they don't necessarily see very often, and some people are spending a lot of time on their own. And so you may be craving silence, or you may find yourself with too much silence. So hopefully what I speak to today will support you no matter in which situation you find yourself in. So when it comes to silence, what's important to remember is for silence to exist, there must also be noise. Another example of that would be for there to be light, there's also darkness. For there to be sadness, there's also happiness. And when we give ourselves permission to experience whatever it is that's unfolding from a neutral space, so we're not judging ourselves, we're not judging the situation, we've suspended judgment. And when you are suspending judgment, so you're not placing it good, bad, I like, I don't like, I want, I don't want. When you're simply observing what's unfolding, you create some space from it. And when it comes to silence, often what happens for people is when they attempt to sit in silence, they realize just how noisy it is. And so then it gets frustrating or uncomfortable because it's so noisy. And the noise could be the environment you're surrounded by, that you live in, or the noise could simply be coming from the mind with your continuous flow of thoughts. And the beauty of sitting in silence, one example is that you become aware of what thoughts continue to repeat themselves in your mind. What seems to be a repeating thought pattern? And, thoughts are just thoughts. They're a part of our experience as human beings. And when you relate to your thought simply as a thought, and you're aware of the thoughts that are present, the only power they'll have over you is if you actually believe them. That question I mentioned a couple episodes ago, says who, can be very useful when you find yourself aware of a thought that may not be necessarily supportive. of what you are creating in the garden of your life. So sitting in silence, you can be aware of what thoughts are present today. And where would I like to put the power of that thought? It takes something to be willing to be aware of a thought without clinging to it, without judging it as good, bad, right, or wrong, and simply noticing it and perhaps even questioning it. Says who? When we are not aware of something, then we have no way to shift our relationship to it. It's like having a blind spot. And so whatever is present that we're not aware of will drive us. But we won't even be aware that it's driving us. So silence can be very, very healing and nourishing because we become more aware of what's present in our experience. And sitting in silence supports us to coming back into the land of neutral, grounded, center, easefulness. So you may want to try this on, what I'm going to share with you now, from time to time. If this is new for you, you may want to take it in little doses. If this isn't new to you, but it's fallen by the wayside, you may want to pick it back up again. And the reason I'm sharing this is because this is a time of year where many people, when they get to the other side of the holidays, feel really tired. And there could be many factors for that fatigue. But sitting in silence is deeply nourishing. And when we become aware of practices that support our nourishment, fill our cups, recharge our batteries, bring us back to center, well, it's a game changer. So simply what you do, and you can practice this from anywhere, you notice the noise. You get curious about the noise. And you put all your attention on all the noise, and it could be the sounds of birds. It could be sounds of a conversation happening in a room next door. It could be cars beeping, airplanes overhead, pans in a kitchen, children laughing. So you notice the noise. And maybe the noise is in the head, so then you just become aware of the noise in the head. Just present to it. Again, neutral. Not resisting, not resigned, not clinging, simply aware and observing. And then when you're ready, you purposely shift your attention to the silence behind the noise. And you stay there. And it's useful if you connect silence to the back body. So if you want, you can lie down in doing this, or allow yourself to just firmly ground into the back body. It's a supportive process, grounding into silence, soaking in silence. And if you have nothing behind you, you can just bring your awareness to the back of your body, back of your head, neck, shoulders, bum, legs, heels. And when your attention naturally shifts from the silence back to the noise, you allow it to go there. You get curious about the noises. And then when you're ready, you shift back to the silence again. And you soak there. And you'll notice that the back body, the musculature of the back body, if you soak there long enough and you allow it to nourish you, it'll soften. You may feel some tingling, some warmth, like a gentle massage. And you can go back and forth and back and forth. And over time, you'll notice you'll be able to engage in this process to support you in any situation you find yourself in. You can be amongst a great deal of noise and tap into silence. You can find yourself in a discussion with someone, and rather than preparing your responses or focusing your attention on your discomfort within your physical body on any level, you can choose to be with whatever's unfolding, as challenging as that may be, and move into silence. So that when you do respond, if you so choose, you're doing so from a calm and grounded space. And you'll notice over time that in sitting in silence, there's a stillness that comes about. And that supports clarity. And the more clarity we have in our lives, the more supportive it is to our own process of growth. So no matter where you find yourself, I do hope that there was something you heard today that resonated with you, and that it supports you during this time of year to be kind to yourself, to nourish yourself, and to take good care of yourself. Whatever resonated with you, feel free to share, hit a like or a follow. Wherever you may find yourself, I do hope that you're well.